It's Ashley Bishop with Status Coup. John Farina and I are live on the ground in Washington, D.C., where it is very hot and humid, covering the anti-Trump protest outside of Trump's combined authoritarian North Korea-style military parade and 79th birthday party that he threw himself at the taxpayers' expense. Protests under the banner No King's Day have been organized all across the country today by liberal resistance groups like No Kings, which has been bankrolled by a member of the Walton family of Walmart, Indivisible, 50501, which have all organized protests like the hands-off protest that took place earlier this year across the country. Notably, the protest here in D.C. was not organized by these groups. On this, co-executive director of Indivisible, Leah Greenberg, said, "We want to create contrast, not conflict. The choice to hold No King's Day events in every city but D.C. is a deliberate choice to keep the focus on contrast and not give the Trump administration an opportunity to stoke and then put the focus on conflict." So again, this protest that we are at right now in D.C. is not an official part of the No King's Day protests that are happening across the country and in other places like Dublin, where I saw that they're also holding a No King's Day protest today. So on to the price tag for this parade. The Trump administration has not disclosed the full cost of the parade, but reports have ranged from nearly $50 million to $143 million for the entirety of this whole circus. However, companies like Lockheed Martin, Amazon, UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Coinbase, and Palantir have been pitching in with private donations to help offset some of the cost, but the government is still expected to spend $25 to $45 million on, again, this combined, like North Korea-style authoritarian military parade and birthday event for Trump's 79th birthday, which is today. And those millions will be spent on quite a few things. So 6,700 soldiers, 150 vehicles, including dozens of tanks, a firework display, 50 aircraft to fly overhead, including World War II airplanes and military tech, like rocket launchers. Yes, rocket launchers, because that is something we definitely need right now while working people are struggling. Not only is this not a normal thing for a country still pretending to be a democracy to do, and on that note, neither of many of the things that Trump has already done, which sort of resets the baseline of what people are willing to accept. This is coming at a time when the sole purpose of the government, according to the Trump administration, is to cut government waste and increase efficiency. And I cannot think of anything more wasteful than spending $143 million, or to be fair, up to $143 million on a military birthday parade when, again, working people are struggling, and we are being told that we're cutting social services that working people rely on because we simply cannot afford to feed, house, and provide health care and other necessary services for working people. But according to Trump, we can't afford to put on this grotesque display of military bravado. So we have been on the ground covering the anti-ICE protests in New York City and L.A. Tina Berg has been covering the anti-ICE protests for us in L.A. She's been doing an excellent job, so do check out her coverage. She was hit with tear gas. She was also shot with a stray less lethal a few days ago. So again, do check that out. She's been doing some really great work for us at Status Coup. And we do not expect any of those protests to let up. And again, all of these, liberal resistance protests for No King's Day are now occurring at a time where the entire country has erupted in anti-ICE protests. So that could change the trajectory of these things. But we'll see. We'll be in D.C. all day covering this for you guys. And just to add to the anti-ICE protests, yesterday it was reported that Trump has set aside an additional $45 billion for ghoulish companies like Geo Group and CoreCivic to build more immigration detention centers to disappear people into. And this is happening while detainees, or better put, prisoners at Delaney Hall have been rioting over terrible conditions over the last few days. 4 prisoners escaped, and as far as I know, they have not yet been found. And John Farina covered the ensuing chaos that happened outside of Delaney Hall just a couple of nights ago. So check out that coverage. And again, that is going to affect how this No King's Day nationwide event goes down today. So we will be live on the ground. Again, John Farina and I will be live on the ground in D.C. for the rest of the day. We expect the military parade to not happen until 6:30, and there will be fireworks after that. So it's going to be a long day for us. We will be live streaming as much of it as we can. So stay tuned with us, and we will check in with you as much as possible.
nonviolent to resist.
I'm going to switch.
Stand up and speak out.
I'm going to switch microphones.
As possible to absorb the violent wrath of Donald Trump and his fascist minions. We need to be prepared in the spirit of Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and all those who marched with them in solidarity, to receive their violence, but not to return it. This is the level of commitment. This is the level of courage that each of us must bring to bear if we are going to realize the mantra that we are calling forth in this nonviolence, grassroots, people-powered movements that we all must adopt and live by. I say it once again, and I ask that you join with me, that in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. We demand the Trump regime must go now. Let's get it done, my fellow Americans.
I think we have to bring down that mic about a whole foot. Thank you so much, Jim Keating.
Trump must go now. Trump must go now. Trump must go now. Trump must go now.
Okay, we're going to have a couple more speakers and then we're going to start our march. And I just want you to, Sam earlier had you take a look at each other and introduce yourself to the person standing next to you. I want you to take a look at each other and see all the people who you are here with. See the beautiful signs that you've brought. We have the DC Activist Street Band over here in the back. We have some of the members of PG County Indivisible who brought their Trump puppet on a throne, which is a toilet. We have these signs that people brought. This one says, "Save America, no kings." This one says, "No kings, no fascists, no tyrants, no hate." This one says, "Immigrants make America great." This one says, "Flags against fascism." This one says, "Faux King Joker." I can't read all of them. I see some more here, but these are great. 2 tacos short of a Happy Meal. We got creative people. We got people with a sense of humor. We got some good people here that we're together with here today.
All right.
I want to practice a chant we haven't practiced yet. It goes like this. Hands off LA.
Hands off LA.
No fascist USA.
No fascist USA.
Hands off LA.
Hands off LA.
No fascist USA.
No fascist USA.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Beautiful. Okay, next I'm going to bring up Sophia Zoe Kilmer. She is the owner of Defend Trans Rights. She's a civil rights attorney and a Senate candidate who is calling on Fetterman to resign. Okay, come on up, Sophia.
Yeah, I'd probably right there. Bring it in just closer, because I don't want to have to yell. Because this is important, and it starts now. First they came for transgender people and queer people in our society. Do you know that the first transgender and queer studies facility in the world was in Germany? Were you aware that the first sexual reassignment surgery occurred in Berlin, Germany? The Nazis burned the books, but few of us learned that they burned the books of the Institute of Scientology, founded by Magnus Hirschfeld in 1919 in Germany. This was an institute that focused on sexology research and advocacy for homosexual rights. They were revolutionary for their time. The Nazis and the fascists of their time, and I say their time for a reason, burned books about sexuality and feminism first. However, they don't teach us that in high school. And they certainly can't in Florida, can they? Because if they did teach us that they taught us that fascism starts with the easily othered people that you don't understand. If we had been taught that, then maybe, just maybe, when we saw the Christian right attack the rights of the LGBTQ community, we would have pumped the brakes a little. Because most of us still see Nazis as the bad guys. On June 6th, 2025, the 80th anniversary of D-Day, Trump and MAGA came for transgender people in the military. People who served their whole life. He began to purge the military of loyal transgender people, costing us millions to retrain. But that's not the point. It's right there in the open for everyone to see. Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, if you have the courage to report on it. The proclamation states transgender people cannot maintain an honorable and truthful, disciplined lifestyle. I'm sorry. I'm not done. Their expression of their sexual identity is not consistent with selflessness. Furthermore, Aaron Reed of Aaron in the Morning has reported that military people leaving voluntarily or involuntarily are being marked with a code that was used for homosexuals and communists and people who disclose classified documents. That's how they're treating us. We won't be able to serve in the government. This isn't just a purge of us in the military. It's of us in the government entirely. So let this be crystal clear to the world. This is about dehumanizing trans people and eventually all LGBTQ people as subhuman, to be treated in our society as such because the ruling class deems us unnatural. Get that through your head, because that's where fascism starts. But it doesn't end there. That's because in a Fire Nation society, you must fabricate wars to fight enemies within, to distract people from the real problems, the ones you can't solve. by simply eradicating them. But you can't eradicate an idea. And that's what democracy and liberal thought are. They are ideas and beliefs. And they're a movement. It might be 250 years, but it's a movement. And you will never stop this movement.
Thank you, Sophia. Again, let's hear it for Sophia Zoe Kilmer. Trans erasure, we say no.
Trans erasure, we say no.
Now's the time for Trump to go.
Now's the time for Trump to go.
War on women, we say no.
War on women, we say no.
Now's the time for Trump to go.
Now's the time for Trump to go.
War on science, we say no.
War on science, we say no.
Now's the time for Trump to go.
Now's the time for Trump to go.
Fascist America, we say no.
Fascist America, we say no.
Now's the time for Trump to go.
Now's the time for Trump to go.
Before I introduce our next speaker, thank you, sorry again. I want you to make some noise for yourself real quick. As I said before, but some more people have joined. You may have come alone, you may have come by yourself, but you are now part of this community, this group. So welcome. I want to remind folks to please drink water and apply some sunscreen. You may have thought it was going to be rainy and the sun is shining on us, and that's a beautiful thing. So make sure that you hydrate, that you use sunscreen. I just wanted to shout out some of the beautiful signs that are out here. For people that are watching at home and don't see, we've got, it's giving small little dictator vibes. We've got no to Trump's fascist military parade. We've got immigrants make America great. We've got no, a homemade no in the name of humanity. We refuse to accept a fascist America. We've got some no king signs. It's really, really beautiful. Again, we're gonna have this rally. We're gonna then march to Lafayette Square, where we'll have another rally, and then we'll come back. Welcome. This is a non-violent and permitted protest, and it's so important that you're here. You may have come a little afraid, a little nervous, and I'm seeing a lot of smiles and joy today. And as righteous as we are in our anger and our determination to refuse to accept a fascist America, we're also joyful that there's other people who are doing this too, who are refusing to be threatened and intimidated, who are standing up together. So with that, I want to introduce Sunsara Taylor. Sunsara Taylor is a national leader of Refuse Fascism and a co-host of the RNL Revolution Nothing Less show. Make some noise for Sunsara.
Sisters and brothers, beautiful people, how do you feel? We are here to say, in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. The fascist Trump regime must go now. I want to talk about why we say this and what this is going to take. So just a couple days ago, after U.S. Senator Alex Padilla was forcefully grabbed by men in uniform, after he was dragged out of a public press conference after he was forced to the ground and put in cuffs like a dangerous criminal. He came out in front of the cameras and said, if this administration can do this to a U.S. senator just asking questions, think what they are doing to the farm workers, to the cooks, to the dishwashers, to the day laborers. And maybe you don't have to imagine, maybe you're like me and you have been watching the videos, like the one on June 6th from a young woman who watched her father dragged out of a workplace raid. Now, before I tell this story, I want you to picture your father. Picture your father being dragged out in front of you as the words choke out of your voice between sobs and you say, "Te quiero, papa, te quiero. I love you very much. Dad, I love you," like this young woman said. And I want you to picture your father as he's being dragged away by men in uniform, as his whole world is about to change, mustering the strength and the love to keep his head high and to gesture again and again comfort and love to his daughter, to you. And as the vans on the unmarked, as the doors on the unmarked van close on this young girl's father, on your father, I want you to picture him blowing one last kiss. Later, when this young woman posted this video, she said that not only was her father taken, but two uncles as well. And she posted to her father, "I wish I had hugged you just a little bit tighter that morning." And I want you to think not just of that young woman, but of the millions and millions right now who are fearful. The mothers and fathers, the sons and daughters, the tios and tias who are terrified and thinking, "I should hug my loved one just a little bit tighter before they leave today because I don't know if this will be my last chance." This is just one of the monstrous crimes of the Trump fascist regime. This is why we say the fascist Trump regime must go now. But that is not all. Let's go back to the press conference with Kristi Noem. What was she saying? I want to quote to you something she said. She said, "We are not going away. We are staying here to liberate this city from the socialists and the burdensome leadership of this governor and this mayor." This is the regime telling you that what their real mission in Los Angeles is. It is to remove the elected officials of that city and state by military force. They are openly saying it. That is a coup. That is a coup. And it is consistent with Donald Trump inciting and then pardoning the insurrectionists of January 6th. This fascist Trump regime feels that anybody else is illegitimate. No one else deserves to be in power by merit of not being part of their fascist crew. Think about what Donald Trump said about why he said Governor Gavin Newsom should be arrested. Trump did not claim that Newsom broke a law. He literally said Newsom should be arrested simply for running for governor. This is right out of Hitler's playbook. Arresting and silencing all opposition. Starting with targeted disappearances and then expanding it en masse. Purging the military leadership of anyone who would stand up to the fascist dictator, which is what Hitler did and what Trump has done now. And then parading that military before the eyes of the world to intimidate and terrorize even before it is unleashed to do its greatest crimes. This is why we are here in the streets of D.C. today saying no to Trump's fascist military parade and saying the Trump fascist regime must go now. My name is Sansara Taylor, and as Sam said, I am one of the co-initiators of Refuse Fascism, together with others, back in 2016. We recognized then that Trump MAGA is a fascist movement determined to impose fascism in this country. Fascism, we were right, fascism is not a curse word. It is a qualitatively different form of rule. No rights, no dissent, just brute terroristic force in the service of a program of open and aggressive white supremacy, vicious and cruel hatred of women and LGBT people, and genocidal xenophobic America Firstism. And the lesson of history is that fascism must be defeated before it is consolidated, before it becomes too late. And today, Donald Trump is very close to consolidating fascism. And so this is the mission of RefuseFascism.org. It is to unite people from all our diverse political perspectives and viewpoints to stand together in the streets non-violently, but again and again in growing numbers and determination, refusing to stop until we create such a profound political crisis that Donald Trump cannot govern this country. Cannot impose his fascist terror and cannot even hold on to power. This is how fascist tyrants are deposed around the world through the nonviolent actions of the people. This is what is needed here, and this is the mission of RefuseFascism.org. So I call on everybody here. Join Refuse Fascism. Bring your unique perspective, your skills, your passion, your networks, your resources, your determination, your courage, and your commitment to the future into this fight. And on July 1st through the 4th, I'll talk more about this in a minute, come back to D.C. We want to be in these streets even stronger, culminating on July 4th when we will declare our independence in the name of humanity from Trump's fascist America. Now, I personally come to this fight as a proud follower of the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian. He is the architect of a whole new framework of human emancipation called the New Communism. And I say this openly because some people go around and they say that should scare you. And they say that me and others from this perspective have a hidden agenda. But I want to put it straight up. There's nothing hidden. I have become convinced that to get to a world where all of humanity can live in peace, where everybody has their needs met for food, clothing, shelter, but also a rich intellectual and cultural life and community. To get to that world, I've become convinced we need a revolution. Guided by the new communism that Bob Avakian has forged. And let me say this, you don't have to agree with that to be in this movement. You don't even have to dig into that, although I would suggest that you do. But if you're going to form an opinion, I call on everybody to have the integrity to find out about Bob Avakian and myself in this revolution by engaging his works directly, not by listening to snark and rumor and anti-communist red-baiting divide and conquer. Have the integrity. And you can do this at revcom.us and at his social media on all the platforms, at Bob Avakian Official. And if you go there, you will find somebody who's been ahead of the curve for decades, analyzing the rise of this fascism and what is needed to defeat it. But I will tell you this. It is from this perspective that I am 100% determined, sincere, and committed in standing with people from very diverse perspectives, uniting all who can be united to defeat this fascism. Because I recognize that the future I want and the future you want, even if it's different, neither of them, none of them is possible if fascism consolidates. So we need each other. We need to stand together. We need to debate the roots of this fascism, learn from each other, debate the way forward as we stand shoulder to shoulder, and don't let anybody divide us. So I want to give a shout out to the millions and millions of people across this country who have been standing up to Trump's crimes, who've been speaking out, who've been protesting, and to the millions that we expect in the streets today in the No Kings protests in over 1,000 cities across this country. These outpourings, these numbers show that there is a force in this country that is powerful enough to defeat Trump MAGA fascism. No, it is not the Congress. No, it is not the courts. It is the masses and masses of ordinary people standing up together in the streets. But here is something extremely crucial. Up until now, as righteous as it is, as important as it is, this mass protest, this mass resistance has largely been oriented towards opposing Trump's crimes, towards stopping this or that element of it, towards slowing him down. But I want you to understand, and we need to help others understand, that unless and until this fascism is defeated, unless and until this regime is removed from power, it will barrel over even the most powerful and righteous opposition, and it will move to consolidate. And that could come sooner than you think. So while it is righteous and necessary to stand up for trans lives, it is. But it's not enough. It is righteous and necessary for universities and law firms to defy Trump, but it is not enough. It is righteous and necessary to defend the students who have put it on the line for Gaza, but it is not enough. And it is righteous. It is righteous and it is necessary that people are standing up across this country, and especially courageously in Los Angeles, against the terror of ICE. This is lending strength and inspiration and courage and defiance, but we have to understand that more is needed. We have to raise the demand and we have to make it real. The fascist Trump regime must go now. So here, I want to speak directly to the fact that there should have been. Y'all are beautiful, but let's be really honest. The hour is getting late. We must not talk falsely, as Bob Dylan said. You are beautiful, but there should have been 1 million people in the streets of D.C. today. And as righteous as it is that people are standing up everywhere, as important as that is, I want to take on directly those who said, protest elsewhere, but not in D.C. Some of them said, if you protest in D.C., Trump might declare martial law. Well, it looks like Trump has kind of jumped the gun on that one. He's going full steam ahead. The sure way to guarantee martial law and fascism is to lie down and capitulate in advance. Some people said, don't protest in D.C., do it across the country, because we have to have a groundswell across the country to get ready for 2026, 2028, when we can take back the Senate and the House and then the presidency. Well, guess what? That is too fucking late. The atrocities are escalating by the day. The terror is escalating by the day. The rights are being revoked by the way. And let's go back to that press conference with Kristi Noem. Let's go back to Trump pardoning the insurrectionists. Does anybody believe that Donald Trump would respect an election he lost in 2026. Whatever is in your pipe that you are smoking, if you think that way, put it down, give it up, wake up and face reality. We have to join this fight now. And finally, there were those who said, stay away from D.C. Because if you're in D.C. with the military parade, if you're in D.C. where Donald Trump said you'll face a very big force, somebody might get hurt. Well, right now, people are getting hurt. Right now, there is a world of hurt, and just because it's not happening to you does not mean it is not happening. And if we give in to fear, if we cower because of Donald Trump's fascist threats and intimidation, if we sit back while they come for immigrants today and trans people tomorrow, and who knows who next, this leads to greater and greater horror. If you go down that road, you lose your humanity as you watch the humanity of others be destroyed. So I want to ask you, by a show of hands, how many of you, be honest, were a little bit scared to come out in D.C. today? How many of you had somebody tell you maybe you shouldn't go, you might get hurt? Put your hands up, look around. What you did by coming out in the face of that, what you did by coming out in the face of that is model the courage and conviction that can give strength to others. Because the truth is, there has never been any advance for the oppressed without sacrifice, without risk. That's why we celebrate the civil rights leaders. That's why we celebrate those who fought against fascism in Germany. That is why we celebrate the freedom fighters. There's never been any advance on the cheap, and there are bigger things than our own personal safety. So we have to look out for each other. We don't take sacrifice lightly, but we are not going to bow down in fear and let Donald Trump steal the future and barrel over humanity. We are going to stand up. So I want to close by again calling on everyone here to join this movement. If you're part of a group already, then partner with refusefascism.org. We need all our voices. We need to stay in these streets. And in particular, every day stand up and come back here, July 1st through the 4th. We want a massive convergence. Get on a bus, get on a plane, carpool, drive here. Every day we'll stand up, and this July 4th, in front of the eyes of the world, July 4th, in front of the White House, be part of issuing the biggest chant ever. The Trump fascist regime must go now. By doing this, we will be taking this movement forward, building the strength and the struggle to carry this all the way to unseating the regime. So I ask you to put your fist in the air with me. We're going to close out together. In the name of humanity. 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 We refuse to accept. We refuse to accept. We refuse to accept. We refuse to accept. A fascist America. A fascist America. Trump must go now. 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 Thank you very much. You are so beautiful and inspiring. Trump must go now. 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 All right. We're getting ready. We're going to get ready to march. We're going to march to the White House. March to Lafayette Square.
It's all back on you. And
I want to bring us back together. That was a very important speech that we just heard.
All right, this is Ashley Bishop.
There's a lot there for us to grab hold hold of and what we're here for.
Okay, sorry guys. This is Ashley Bishop with Status Coup. John Farina and I are live on the ground in Washington, D.C. at an anti-Trump protest. Today there are nationwide protests for No King's Day. This protest is not a part of No King's Day. This is a separate event, again, held at the same time as the No King's Day protest. In just a minute, the speakers are going to stop speaking and we will be marching to the White House. So follow along with us while we are talking to people who came to protest today in D.C. We will be streaming live all day from D.C. We expect to be out here all day. So again, follow along with us for the rest of the day today.
If there are any security concerns or questions or something you may think is a problem, there are people in yellow vests. There are marshals. They have been trained to march today with de-escalation. They have been trained to rely on you and rely on each other and help you help each other, to not allow this march to be disrupted in any way. So we're gonna, if you have any concerns, you should go to them, and we're gonna do this together, okay? So we're gonna get this organized here. I hope that we've already started to pull things together. At the front of the march, we are going to have a veterans contingent that is going to lead this march. And I would like it if some of those veterans want to hold some of these. Let's go now. Some of these big signs. Behind the veterans contingent.
Okay, so we have some updates on the shooting in Minnesota of State Democrat Melissa Hortman and her husband, who were shot and killed in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination, as well as Democratic state lawmaker John Hoffman and his wife, who were also shot. The suspect is believed to have impersonated a police officer and escaped after engaging fire with officers. CNN reported just a little while ago the Minnesota State Patrol posted a photo of No Kings flyers found inside the car of the suspect. There were some flyers that said "No Kings" within the suspect's vehicle. Officials are asking the public to not attend demonstrations planned throughout the state today out of an abundance of caution. Again, from CNN, law enforcement found a hit list in the Minnesota suspect's car that contained nearly 70 names. A law enforcement official briefed on the matter told CNN. Names included abortion providers, pro-abortion rights advocates, and lawmakers in Minnesota and other states, the official added. Law enforcement also found a Father's Day card addressed to the suspect in a bag full of ammunition. The official said a second official briefed on the case echoed the targeting of abortion providers, and U.S. Capitol Police are checking in with members of Congress to inform them that they were listed in the shooter's alleged manifesto, another source told CNN. So as we have updates, we will continue to update you guys today while we are at the march in Washington, D.C.
Go to refusefascism.org and sign up. I think we're ready.
If I can get a couple of volunteers who can help to break down the stage as the march is leaving, that would be very helpful. You can come up right here and talk to Cindy. Our march is going to form up right here. We're going to go down P Street and then down 14th Street. So I would like the veterans to get in front. I would like the...
All right, so people are taking places to start marching now. So we are at Logan Circle right now, and the march is going to be headed to the White House.
It's actually in front of Columbia. Especially after Trump said he's going to hit it with big force. I couldn't miss it. No, we're going to be peaceful and everything, but we couldn't just give in to that stuff.
What
While we're waiting for the march to start, we wanted to welcome new Status Coup members and see Deborah, Carrie, Colleen, Christina, Linda, and Ryan. Welcome, guys. We're glad to have you at Status Coup. If you are not yet a member of Status Coup, please do subscribe. We have been covering, all of these protests on the ground across the country, covering the fight against fascism. So please do subscribe so that you can follow our work that we are bringing you across the country. It takes a lot of resources for us to be able to do things like go to DC and cover this anti-Trump protest in DC. John and I are based out of New York City, so obviously it costs money, it takes resources, all of that kind of thing. Your support allows us to do these kind of things. So again, if you are not yet a member and have not yet joined Status Coup, you can do that at statuscoup.com/join for as little as $5 a day. It doesn't take much, but it helps us out a lot. So every $5 subscription helps us to cover these costs so that we can continue covering all of these protests on the ground for you. Okay, so the march is starting to head out now, and John and I are at the front of the march. We are leaving Logan's Circle now, again toward the White House.
Felon I ever heard of.
Now's the to go. Fascist America, we say no. Now's the time for Trump to go. Trans erasure, we say no. Now's the time for Trump to go.
Que decenas de personas caminan hacia
Now's the time for Trump to go.
Excuse me.
War on women, we say no. Now's the time for Trump to go. Genocide in Gaza, we say no. Genocide in Gaza, we say no. Now's the time for Trump to go. Now's the time for Trump to go. Deportations, we say no. Deportations, we say no. Now's the time for Trump to go. Now's the time for Trump to go. ICE Gestapo, we say no. ICE Gestapo, we say no. Now's the time for Trump to go. Now's the time for Trump to go. Troops in the street, we say no. Troops in the street, we say no. Now's the time for Trump to go. Now's the time for Trump to go. Fascist America, we say no. Fascist America, we say no. Now's the time for Trump to go. Now's the time for Trump to go. War on the press, we say no. War on the press, we say no. Donald Trump has got to go. Donald Trump has got to go. Trump must go now. 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 Trump must go
This is like one thing that's always around. We're afraid of Moscow. Like the French, the British, the Russians, all this elaborate stuff. You're right. Oh my God.
Okay, I'm sorry, hang on just 1 second. So we are live right now, and I'm sorry, my name is Ashley. What was your name?
Steve Jobe, Jobe.
Steve, so why are you out here today, Steve?
Because I think Trump is a threat to our Constitution and democracy. I came from Dallas.
Absolutely. And is there anything in particular about what he's been doing that you think is such a threat to the exclusion of other things?
He's been breaking the law right and left. He's a convicted felon. Yeah, he's a criminal.
What would you hope the outcome of these protests to be?
What would I want what?
The outcome of these protests to be, what do you think people are trying to achieve by being out here on the streets in D.C. today?
I'd like to see enough protests to force him out of office. Exactly what the means is, I don't know. I guess if enough elected officials see it, then maybe they'll want the votes and support the overthrow of Trump.
Do you think that's likely?
At this point, no. But hopefully it'll happen.
Thank you so much. Do you have any other thoughts you would want to add to Status Coup viewers?
No, just that there's not much we can do other than writing our representatives. But after you write representatives, this is the next best thing. That's why I'm here.
Absolutely, and I would add, in addition to that, organizing on the ground also helps. We can do a lot more than just protest and writing. We can also, engage in our communities and do organizing in our communities, join mutual aid groups, those kinds of things, because social services are being cut all across the country. People need help. Join a mutual aid group and help fill in the gap that the government used to fill.
That's a good point. I agree completely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. All right. So again, we are live in D.C. at the anti-Trump protest that has been organized on the same day as the No Kings Day protest, so this one is not an official part of the No Kings Day protest, where we will be talking to people on the ground about why they showed up in D.C. today. As you might imagine, there is a lot of press out here today. John and I don't ordinarily see this when we are on the ground covering protests. It's usually he and I and a group of, independent journalists and freelancers, and that's about it. But today there are lots of camera crews, which is, again, highly unusual for us when we are covering anything on the ground. Hey, would you want to do an interview with us at Status Coup about what the point of this protest in particular is? Cool. So, I'm sorry, I'm Ashley.
What's your name?
Ashley.
Ashley, my name is Sunsara Taylor, Sunsara, Taylor, Taylor, spokesperson for RefuseFascism.org.
Awesome. Thank you for talking with us, Sunsara. I guess I would want to ask, so this protest was organized despite the larger No Kings Day protests, stating specifically, like organizers of those protests stating specifically that they are not holding anything in D.C. So why did you guys want to hold a protest here despite that?
Well, we think it's incredibly powerful and righteous and important that people are standing up nationwide, saying no kings in 1,000 cities. This shows the power of the people and the profound opposition to Trump and his fascist regime. At the same time, to those leaders who said don't come to D.C., we respectfully disagreed. We think this is where the eyes of the world are. This is where Donald Trump is putting his fascist military on parade to intimidate the world. And it's not just symbolic. It is not a mere ego trip. Donald Trump is remaking the military to be a force that is loyal not to the Constitution, not to the rule of law, but to Trump personally. With all the white supremacy, all the hatred of women and LGBT people, all the genocidal, xenophobic, America First chauvinism that involves. And this is where we need to be standing up. And it became all the more important when Donald Trump threatened very big force 3 times against peaceful protests. If we concede in advance to Trump's fascist intimidations and threats, we will lose our rights. We have to stand up. And so we salute everybody in the streets, but we felt it was very important to be here. And I'm so thrilled to see there was a lot of people who agreed that this is the place to be.
100%. And I would just kind of yes and something that you're saying. The optics of Trump holding his giant, up to $143 million military parade and birthday party for himself at the taxpayers' expense. The optics of, holding protests in every other city besides D.C., the epicenter of that is not great for the protest movement at large. And it says a lot about the kind of, I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but it does say something about the kind of liberal resistance movement that has organized a lot of these bigger protests.
I can't quite hear what you oppose, the optics of the countrywide. I just missed the thrust of what your question was. It's so loud.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So it is very loud out here right now, and I'm a low talker, so that doesn't help. But I would just say that, the optics of not holding a protest in D.C. says a lot about the kind of of liberal resistance movement that has been organizing a lot of these protests. And I don't mean that to be, disparaging, to, say, perfect is the enemy of the good, right? I just said that it says a lot.
Yeah, what I would say is, again, what's the principal thing is that every voice standing up to Trump is righteous, necessary, important everywhere in the country. I will say to the leaders who said stay away from D.C., some of them did raise that we need a nationwide outpouring to prepare for the 2026 elections. And on that note, while we need protest everywhere, and it's righteous, scheming and banking on the 2026 elections is delusional, it's deadly. Trump, it's too late. There's fascist atrocities and rights being taken away now. The streets are being militarized now. And Donald Trump is not going to respect an election he loses. He's proved that over and over and over again. So we respectfully disagree, not with the protests and outpourings, but with the insistence that people stay away from D.C. in the name of safety, in the name of getting positioned for the elections or any other such thing. We need to be here. We need to be everywhere. We need to be saying Trump must go now.
And that says something about a belief that electoralism is kind of the be-all, end-all of organizing, of getting us out of where we are right now, to the exclusion of kind of everything else.
Yeah. Well, the truth is, no advance for the masses of people has been won through voting. It's been won in the streets. Even the right to vote wasn't won by voting. So we just have to recognize that that's always been the case, and it's even more the case now when Trump is making clear that he's not going to respect the courts, he's not going to respect elections he loses, he's not going to respect anything except for being overwhelmed through the nonviolent but sustained, massive and growing power of the people, demanding his removal, forcing the kind of political crisis that we've seen around the world when people stay in the streets and depose fascist dictators through mass nonviolent action. That's what refusefascism.org is calling for, and we welcome everybody. If you believe in this system and its elections, its founding principles, you want to fight for that and you hate the way Trump is violating that, or if you're like me and think that Trump is an outgrowth of the slavery, genocide, white supremacy that is built into this system, and you're fighting for a revolution, which I am, we need to stand together in the streets right now, demanding Trump must go now, and not stopping till we get that, because the future I want, the future they want, it's not going to be possible, even if it's different. Neither of it is possible if fascism consolidates. So we need each other, even as we're going to have differences, and we need to learn to work together and overcome the kind of divide and conquer, sectarianism, snark, gossip culture, all of that, and build real principled unity, debate, discussion, where we can thrash out differences and still stand together.
And I think it's important to, one more probably long question and answer for you. It's important to note that the protests that are happening today, even though this is not a No King's Day protest, are happening now, amidst the country kind of erupting in protest over Trump's heavily militarized ICE raids. So I think that's important, and I wonder, do you feel like that kind of changes the expectations for today?
I think it makes the outpourings all the more important. And look, we're in very abnormal times. Fascism is happening. A U.S. senator was thrown to the ground, cuffed, dragged out, and as he said, if this can happen to a U.S. senator and before the cameras of the world, what's happening to farm workers right now? What's happening to cooks and dishwashers? And then he also said correctly, and this is not typical for Democratic Party leaders, he said everybody should be in the streets on Saturday protesting. He said non-violently, but be out there. And I think this is a moment, again, I don't share his viewpoint on running and being part of this system. The Democratic Party, in my view, is a party of war crimes and crimes against humanity. That said, come on in, stand up to this now. We need to be together. And this is the extraordinary, it's a turning point in history. There's never been a fascist regime consolidated in the most powerful military country in the history of humanity. This is on a scale, the danger is on a scale beyond anything that we've seen in history. And we have a responsibility. That's why we say, in the name of humanity, we must refuse to accept a fascist America. We need to do this, stay in the streets, and not let this fascism consolidate.
That's all wonderful. Are there any final thoughts that you want to share with viewers of Status Coup?
I think that's it for now, but is there a way I could find you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So we're Status Coup. We're on YouTube. We're on socials.
Can you text me like you're in?
Yes. Thank you.
USA. No Trump.
Let's do
No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump.
The microphone.
No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump.
Go back to the front.
No KKK, no fascist
USA.
No Trump. No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump.
No KKK, no fascist USA.
No Trump. No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump. No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump.
No KKK, no fascist USA.
No Trump.
No KKK, no fascist USA.
No Trump. No KKK, no fascist USA. No Trump. No Trump.
No KKK, no fascist USA.
No KKK, no fascist USA.
No KKK, no fascist USA. I'm going to ask you. No KKK, no fascist USA.
Tell Jordan I said hi, and I hope he and the baby are doing good. And I'm such a fan of Status Coup. So
Thank you so much. That mask is extremely creepy and very good.
although I'm this close to going in there and getting a pacifier, because I think that that's what we really need to make the look complete.
I think so too. I agree. If you come out with a pacifier, let us know. I kind of want to see the full effect.
But anyway, I just wanted to bounce over, show some love, show some respect, show some support, and keep fighting a good fight. We love you guys.
We appreciate that. All right, someone wearing an extremely creepy Trump mask.
Has got to go.
All right. Okay, so again, we are in D.C., as you can see, covering the anti-Trump protest that is going on. At the same time that Trump is holding his gigantic North Korea authoritarian military parade and birthday today. All right, so we are on the move. We're going to keep following the march.
You need water?
I do. I have one in my hand. Okay. So I just need a second to take it out. Sorry, guys. 1 second. It's hot and humid, so I'm going to take a second to have some water. Again, sorry for the crinkly water bottle noises right now. So again, this protest is not an official part of No King's Day, And on the No Kings Day protests that are happening, elsewhere in places like New York City and LA, I spoke with journalist Evelyn Quartz, who wrote an excellent piece for The Lever last week on why the liberal resistance protests have failed. And again, the No Kings Day protests are organized by, liberal resistance organizations like Indivisible and 50501. So she wrote a piece on why the liberal resistance protests have failed and what it means for these protests in response to Trump's, fascist military parade to be happening at a time while the country, especially LA, has erupted in protest over Trump's heavily militarized ICE raids. And in her piece she wrote, so I'm going to read this to you guys while we're still just kind of marching here. She wrote, in a recent segment, MSNBC commentator Rachel Maddow breathlessly described an upcoming No Kings Day protest of President Donald Trump on June 14th, pointing to a coordinated protest effort that day, which is now today, across all 50 states. And she goes on, Maddow spoke with sincerity. She and her guest's urgency was palpable, but the vision they offered was limited, not a plan to challenge power, but an effort to shape elite respectability. The protest goal wasn't to shift institutions, it was to signal social, professional, and aesthetic boundaries, not leverage, but reputational management. Nowhere does Maddow name the structures of power that enabled Trump's return, an economic order defined by globalization, the money-ridden political system. This bipartisan consensus failed millions, but none of it is interrogated. Instead, the protest becomes a moral signal, not a strategic challenge, and it reflects something deeper about this liberal worldview, a belief that Trump is the singular threat while leaving the system that enabled him untouched. So again, excellent piece from Evelyn Quartz. And I think this analysis is correct and exactly what we say over at Status Coup and have been saying for a long time. The working class has been hollowed out over the last 40 years, and Trump is a natural conclusion of the neoliberal policies that have done this. It does not begin with him, but unless as a country we fully recognize this, we can expect the floggings to continue until there is simply nothing left. So again, good piece by Evelyn, and the interview that we did is good. So check out our socials for a sneak peek of this interview with her, and it will be posted in full on YouTube as well.
Trump out now! No fascist USA! No fascist USA! We stand with LA! ICE out now! Marines out now! No fascist USA! We stand with LA! ICE out now! Marines out now! Trump out now! Trump out now! Trump out now!
For everybody who's watching, if you are not a subscriber, please do become a subscriber at statuscoup.com/join. Again, it takes us resources to do these on-the-ground trips that John and I have been doing. We would like to continue doing more. We have Tina out in LA covering the protests in LA as well. So we're covering the protest movement across the country from as many places as we possibly can. Today we are in D.C. John and I are based out of New York City. It takes us a lot to be able to do this. So please, if you are not already a member, please join us at statuscoup.com/join. You can do this for as little as $5 a day. So it's really not much. It is 1 cup of coffee that you can maybe make at home instead. And that allows us to continue doing our work, allows us to continue doing our on-the-ground independent journalism.
Trump out now! 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 ICE out now! Marines out now! Marines out now! Trump out now! No fascist USA! USA! No fascist USA! No fascist USA! Eyes out now! Eyes out now! Eyes out now! Eyes out now! Marines out now! Marines out now! Trump 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 out.
Hello, it's Ashley Bishop with Status Coup. If you're just joining us on this live stream, John Farina and I are on the ground in Washington, D.C., where it is extremely hot and humid. We are covering the anti-Trump protest that is happening outside of Trump's combined authoritarian North Korea-style military parade and 79th birthday bash that he threw for himself at the taxpayers' expense. So that is where we're at. We're in D.C. covering this protest. Protests under the banner of No King's Day have been organized all across the country for today. This particular protest is not part of the No King's Day protests. Those No King's Day protests have been organized by resistance groups like 50501, Indivisible, and No Kings, which has been bankrolled by a member of the Walton family of Walmart. And those groups have organized the hands-off protests that happened earlier this year. On this, the choice to not hold a No King's Day protest in D.C., the co-executive director of Indivisible, Leah Greenberg, said, we want to create contrast, not conflict. The choice to hold No Kings events in every city but D.C. is a deliberate choice to keep the focus on contrast and not give the Trump administration an opportunity to stoke and then put the focus on conflict. We just spoke with Sansara from resistfascism.org. And, they had a response to the choice to not hold a protest here. She said that she respectfully disagrees. And all of the people who are out here today seem to also respectfully disagree with the decision to not have a No King's Day protest in D.C. today. So on the price tag for the entirety of this event, so the Trump administration has not disclosed the full cost of the military parade, his birthday bash, which includes all kinds of stuff that will be ongoing into the night tonight. But for the whole circus, reports have ranged from $50 million to $143 million. However, companies like Amazon, Lockheed Martin, UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Coinbase, and Palantir have been pitching in with private donations to help offset the costs for the government, though they are still expected to spend $25 to $45 million on this military parade and birthday event for Trump. And those millions of dollars will be spent on 6,700 soldiers, 150 vehicles, including dozens of tanks, a firework display tonight, 50 aircraft to fly overhead, including World War II era planes and military tech like rocket launchers. So yes, we also have rocket launchers, something we definitely need while people are struggling. And again, behind me, there is a massive march going on. We are stopped right here. We are on our way to the White House. So the march. So we are about a block away from the White House. So we're very close. And while we're idling here, just some more on the price tag for this and what it means to be spending all of this money. Not only is this not a normal thing for a country that is still pretending to be a democracy to do, this is all coming at a time when the sole purpose of the government, according to Trump, seems to be to cut government waste and increase efficiency. And I cannot think of anything more wasteful than holding a military parade costing $143 million, while at the same time we are being told that, we're cutting social services that working people rely on because we cannot afford them. We cannot afford to feed, house, and provide health care and necessary services for working people, but we can afford this, grotesque display of military bravado instead. So we have been covering this on the ground today. We will be in D.C. for the rest of today covering the protest outside of Trump's military and birthday parade. So follow along with us. And if you are not yet a subscriber, please join us at statuscoup.com/join so that we can keep covering these protests on the ground for you guys. John and I are based out of New York City. We came here today, again, from New York City. It costs money to be able to do this. We have Jordan and Colin working behind the scenes to make this possible. We also have Tina in LA, who's been covering the protests in LA and doing an excellent job at that, so you should watch her coverage if you haven't. She was hit with tear gas and a stray, less lethal as well during her reporting. So please do watch her coverage. It's been great. And again, follow along with us today as we are live from D.C. covering the anti-Trump protest.
Known as Black Lives Matter Plaza.
Okay, so we are walking through what was Black Lives Matter Plaza. That if you guys remember, it was renamed this in the wake of the Black Lives Matter protest in 2020. They have painted over it. So if you can see on the stream, they painted over this strip. So Jordan just sent me an update on the Minnesota shooting. The suspect in the assassination, an attempted assassination of two Minnesota lawmakers, has been identified as Vance Bolter. Two enforcement officials briefed on the case have told CNN. Bolter is 57 years old, and according to a law enforcement official, he works for a security company, Praetorian Guard Security. The company website says that Bolter serves as the director of security patrols and has had training by people in the U.S. military. Okay, so that is the suspect in the Minnesota shootings.
Somebody give him $50. Just move.
Trump must go now! Trump must go now! Trump must go now!
So again, we are right at the gates of the White House now.
Trump must go now!
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 Trump must go now! Trump must go now! Trump must go now! This is what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
Show me what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks
Oh, we can make a food truck? This is what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like!
This is what democracy looks like! This is what democracy looks like!
Those days. For everyone who is just joining us at Status Coup right now, if you are not yet a subscriber, please make sure that you become a subscriber and join us at statuscoup.com/join.
Trump must go now! Trump must go now!
Trump must go
now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go
Check,
now.
check, check, check. All right, we're getting this down.
Trump
How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Can you hear us in the back? We're getting the speakers set up. Can you hear us in the back? All right, man, you look good. All right, we're getting the speakers set up. Let's do it again. Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
All right, we're almost there with the speaker, so everybody gather in. We're as close as they're going to let us get to the White House, but we are close enough. Hey, it sounds good in the back. Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Is this one of them on? Okay, you want to help them? Somebody else has to hold them. Yeah. Oh. Thank you.
Now we do the other way.
Hey, Sadie.
My hotel going the other direction.
Good quarter.
The fascist Trump regime.
The fascist Trump regime
Must go now.
must go now.
The fascist Trump regime
The fascist Trump regime
must go now.
must go now.
In the name of humanity.
In the name of humanity.
In the
John's just
name
going to change
of
his battery. We will
humanity.
be right back in just a second.
We refuse to accept.
We refuse to accept.
We refuse to accept
We refuse to accept
a fascist America.
a fascist America.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
I'm going to stay here. Are we as loud as we're going to get? No, I want to stay here. Then I can see people. Y'all can see me, right? All right, so listen. We're going to have a few speakers here. I just want to say my name is Sansara Taylor. I am one of the co-founders of RefuseFascism.org. We were founded in 2016.
Okay, we'll be right back.
We recognize that Donald Trump is fighting to impose fascism in this country. And fascism is not just a curse word. It's not a word everybody knows, so I want to explain it very clearly. Fascist is a change in the form of government. rid of from inside. This is the lesson of Nazi Germany. This is the lesson around the world and throughout history. The most powerful chance we have to defeat fascism, the most powerful moment we will ever have is right now. I want to salute all of you who have come out today with courage and conviction. Today, we defied Donald Trump's threats. Today, we refused to comply in advance with his intimidation. Today, we refuse to voluntarily give up our First Amendment right to speak out and protest. Today, we refuse to fall silent as our immigrant sisters and brothers and family are snatched up, disappeared, deported, flung around the world, including in torture prisons. And today, we refuse to accept Donald Trump unleashing the military against the people of this country in the streets of this country as he parades his fascist military in front of the eyes of the world. We say, hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! We say Trump must go now. Trump must go now! And I want to make clear, this is a good chant. It's a good slogan. It feels good to say. But we cannot just say it. We have to make it a reality. Today, across the country, millions and millions are in the streets. Today, across the country, people are standing up in big cities and small towns all over this country, proving that the American people did not want Trump. That's a lie. There is no such thing as the American people, one united American people. The truth is, there are two countries within this country. Half this country, actually quite a bit less, supported Trump. They're cheering on the deportations. They love the live streaming from Dr. Phil. They're feasting on the cruelty, and they're lapping it up, and they're wishing for more. Let's not kid ourselves. But half this country, more than half this country, is sick of this. Has their hearts breaking. People are angry. People are terrified. People are agonized about the future. This is the decent country. This is our country. This is the people that we need to rally to go from standing up in righteous opposition that they are doing today to making it their mission to not just oppose this regime, to not just stop this or that atrocity, but to drive this regime from power through non-violent, massive, sustained struggle. We need to do this because of the nature of fascism. If we let them consolidate, they will bulldoze court orders. They will bulldoze the opposition of the people, even if it's powerful. They will not respect any election they lose. They show this to us every day. The only force in this country that is powerful enough, that is courageous enough, that is righteous enough, that is mighty enough, is the masses of ordinary people standing up, coming into the streets, saying no. So before we bring up our speakers, I want to say, do not underestimate two things. Do not underestimate how dangerous and deadly and rapidly moving this fascist regime is, and how fast it will escalate and try to lock in a point of no return fascism. Do not underestimate the danger. At the same time, do not underestimate the power of the people standing up. So we are in a race. You all, we all together here modeled the courage and determination. It's not that none of us were scared to come out. It's that we recognize there's something bigger than our fear. There's people who matter more than ourselves. There's a future to fight for. We are standing on the shoulders of heroes who fought for the rights we take for granted today, the rights that Trump is trying to take away. And it will take no less courage and struggle and sacrifice to unseat this regime. But it will be worth it. And by coming out in the face of our fear, by standing together with people who look like us and look nothing like us, people who think like us and think nothing like us, people who are diverse but determined, who we need to learn from, who we need to stand shoulder to shoulder with. By coming out today, we have modeled the courage and conviction that is needed. So I want to say, every day we have to stand up in ways big and small. Every day we have to have the backs of others who stand up. But right now, I want you to mark your calendar, July 1st through July 4th. Wherever you are from in this country, wherever you are from, fly to D.C. Take a bus to D.C. Get on a boat to D.C. Hitchhike to D.C. Ride your bike to D.C. We need to flood D.C. with millions of voices standing up saying Trump must go now, July 1st through July 4th. And on July 4th, we are going to gather in front of the White House, and we are going to make the biggest chant that the world has ever heard. Trump must go now! Trump must go now! And we are going to declare our independence in the name of humanity from Trump's fascist America. And this is going to be a leap in building the struggle, the sustained outpouring that does not stop until this regime is removed from power. So I want to salute you all. I want you to join refusefascism.org, partner with this movement. This is a movement for everybody who doesn't want a fascist America. And I want to I'm thrilled to hand over the mic to our speakers who are going to share their perspectives and their strength with us now. We're going to rally for a little while, and then we are going to leave this area together, marching back where we came from to keep each other safe. So, one more time, Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now. Trump must go now.
Trump must go now. Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Trump must go now.
Where are we going to be? July 1st through July 4th? Washington, D.C. Where are we going to be? July 1st through July 4th?
Washington, D.C.
Where are we going to be? July 1st through July 4th?
Washington, D.C.
That's right, Washington, D.C. And on July 4th, right in front of the White House, to make the biggest chant ever, Trump must go now.
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 Okay, I want to welcome up Morgan from the Refuse Fascism DMV chapter.
Holy crap, look at you guys! Look at us! Look at us! We have a lot to be proud of, people. Let me tell y'all something. My name is Morgan, and my people have been in this country, or colony, or whatever you want to call it, since 1720, okay? I come from enslaved people. I come from people who had their families ripped apart. I come from people who lived through Jim Crow, who lived through the civil rights movement, who fought for everything we're fighting for again now. This is enough, America. This is enough. My grandfather was a Tuskegee Airman. Okay? If you don't know what that is, you really need to look it up. He was a fighter pilot. All right? In the museum down the way, the African American History Museum, his picture's in there. But guess what? Guess what Trump is doing? He is marching things that are representatives of the contributions and the lives that black folks have had in this country, and marching it right out the door. Shame on him! Shame! Shame on him! This president is doing division. He is also erasing. Moving that stuff out of the museum. Where are we going to see it? Where are we going to learn about it? We're not going to, and that's what he's trying to do. You erase. He's definitely a racist. But the thing is, he's trying to erase us. He's trying to make us forget about our history. And we cannot do that. We cannot do that. If we don't know where we're come from, where do we go? Where do we go? We had powerful people do powerful things. And this monster is wiping it all away. Now, I'm looking around the crowd, and oftentimes I see I'm one of the only black or brown people out here. It's time. I see a lot more black and brown faces today, and I am proud. Because we all need to be out here and stand in courage. Here's the thing. Do you guys remember the ice raids when they were separating mothers and children? I think there was a lady yesterday who was pregnant that had guns held on her. Like, what the hell? Anyways, remember those images. Now go back to the 1930s, 40s. You've seen those images before. Yes, we have. You've seen those images before. And if you went to a decent school, you've also seen what happened to black families being separated. You see it now today. It is time for us to unite. We cannot let them to continue to divide us. So stand up, America. Stand up. Be brave. Have courage. This is our time. Our ancestors, our parents, they've done all this. Now is the time to stand up and be brave. So let me say two more things. The first thing is I stand with Refuse Fascism because they believe in what happens here is going to affect the rest of the world. We all are here because we understand that what happens here will affect the rest of the world. Woo! So thank you for being here. And finally, make sure you drink a lot of freaking water because it is hot as hell out here. Welcome to Washington, D.C. Let's get this monster out of office.
It's in the very, the very top one.
All right, make some noise for yourselves. Now, in order to go forward from today, to organize even more people, many more people to come out on July 1st through the 4th to declare our independence from a Trump fascist America, you got to get connected to the movement. So right now, if your phone isn't out, take it out. And I'm going to give you some options. You can go on to your social media platform of choice and follow @RefuseFascism, @RefuseFascism. Do that now. I see people doing it.
Good. Yeah. That's what this is about. Connecting.
Such good community members. The second thing that you can do is you can text. I have to look at the number because I don't have it memorized. You can text No Trump, NOTRUMP, to 855-755-1314. No Trump to 855. Say it with me. Because the people in the back still can't hear it. 755 1314. No Trump. To 855 755 1314. And I'm being told one more time. So one more time. No Trump. To 855 755 1314. it's really sunny, so I want to remind folks to drink water. Yep. And before we bring up our next speaker, I want to thank you again for being out here together, for marching together, for having each other's backs. This is the only place to be. It really is. It really is. Right in front of the White House, as close as they'll let us go, saying no to Trump's fascist military parade, saying in the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America, and demanding Trump must go now. So I want you to give a lot of love for our next speaker, Chance Meeting.
Thank you. It's a little treacherous up here. All right, bear with me, everybody, because I got a lot of shit to say. The world has reached a boiling point, and we have to take accountability. For too long, we as a nation turned our heads while atrocities happened on our tax dollars. While prison slave labor and child slave labor is used to make our clothes and our phones, to have the chocolate we savor, to have the jewels we decorate our bodies with, we are a country that profits from perpetuating war. The economy of our military-industrial complex depends on it. For too long, we've fed the war machine, and we've benefited from what it churned out. We're a country that lies to our citizens to manufacture consent for that war machine, to infiltrate and terrorize foreign nations to pillage their land for natural resources. We allow it, we pay for it, so long as we don't have to see it and we can distract ourselves from thinking about it. We're a country that perpetuates poverty within our own borders. And then we punish those who are impoverished. All while upholding the billionaires that are the main perpetrators of this system of cruelty that America as a whole has largely benefited from. We are a country built on violent colonization and genocide. A country ingrained with deep-seated systemic racism wielded by those in power to divide and control the masses. A country that uses the same with organized religion. We are a country that whitewashes the history of which and bans books and curriculum to perpetuate this system it wrought.
Freedom of knowledge.
We are a country that has been funding and facilitating a genocide of the Palestinian people and then uses lies, propaganda, fear-mongering, and illegal detainment to silence those that speak out against the slaughter of innocent men, women, and children in Israel's racist pursuit of ethno-religious supremacy. It's no coincidence that Israel attacked Iran right after the U.S. removed embassy personnel from the Middle East. It's no coincidence that just a week ago, Trump put sanctions on the ICC judges that put out the warrant for Netanyahu's arrest. We can no longer look away while these atrocities happen, while we watch them take place through our phone screens. We cannot be a world that stays numb to this kind of suffering. Our collective, careless complicity in the cruelty of this world has become our undoing. The chickens have come home to roost. The fascism we are facing is the imperialism the United States and the West have been terrorizing the world with for decades upon decades, now turned inward. The enemy within refers to anyone they deem expendable or that disagrees with their authoritarianism. We are not barreling towards fascism. We are in the midst of it. We are a country with a wannabe dictator who is facilitating a violent ethnic cleansing in Palestine while trying to institute it here. The genocide that is happening there is intrinsically linked to the ethnic cleansing they want here. Because it is backed by the same fascist tactics and technology and bolstered by the same violent colonization, imperialism, and white supremacy. We have a wannabe dictator who turns the military against his own people, against protesters, and then has a military parade for his birthday in the most blatant move of overcompensation I have ever seen. A wannabe dictator that sells all of our private information to the highest bidder to create AI databases that profile us based on our conduct on social media to measure allegiance to the state and punish us for thought crimes. A fascist military police state is not around the corner, it is here. Trump has been doing everything this whole presidency for the same reasons: to consolidate power and shock the general public into compliance, to justify his authority. They want you to be so overwhelmed that you do not engage. They want you to give him that power. They want to normalize this state of fear. Do not let them, because Donald Trump is a deeply dumb and unserious person. But his hateful stupidity and his position makes him incredibly dangerous to us all. The people that surround him are the real threat. The ideological fascists like J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel, who bankrolled J.D. Vance's entire political career and handpicked members of Trump's cabinet. They actively want to destroy democracy because they quote the fascist philosophy of the chinless king incel himself, Curtis Yarvin. Right now, they need Donald Trump because he is the cult leader that can bring about their change. It's not a conspiracy theory. It is all in writing. They want to bring about the end of democracy and set up tech monarchies where the billionaire CEOs of these tech companies with their AI weaponry and surveillance rule like kings over a working class whose characters must fit rigidly within their ideology. Everyone else is people they deem undesirables. To quote Curtis Yarvin, he said, "The best alternative to genociding undesirables is permanent solitary confinement. Wax like a bee larva into a cell which is sealed except for emergencies." And then said, "The most profitable disposition for dealing with undesirables is to convert them to biodiesel." This is the man that the billionaire CEOs quote. A lot of his writings run parallel with the contents of Project 2025. Do not be mistaken. These are evil people. Their evil is connected throughout the world and its conflicts, and it exists because of the system of cruelty that we have perpetuated to give them unprecedented wealth and power to carry out these plans. But I remind you, we overwhelmingly outnumber them. Do not fear them because they need to fear us. Trump is responsible for this chaos and war, as are his fascist administration and the anti-democracy tech billionaires and the Heritage Foundation and the authors of Project 2025 and the white supremacists and the delusional cultists. All of these Nazis are to blame. Anyone who supports Trump is on the wrong side of history, and history will judge. Hard lines are being drawn, and the choice is simple. You're either not a fascist, or you are one. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, that was Chance meeting. Give it up for Chance. Go now!
Trump must 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 go now!
And where are we going to be on July 4th? In D.C. and right in front of the White House. is going forward for millions to come into the streets and demand Trump must go now.
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 Okay, we're going to bring up a few more speakers here because people are bringing different things to bear, and we're coming together in this. So Sam is going to introduce our next speaker, and he's going to come on up.
Woo! This is like half my height.
Yeah. It's an obstacle course.
All right, make some noise for Greg Stoker. Greg is an anti-war vet.
Thank you for your service. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Greg Stoker. I'm a veteran who conducted 4 combat deployments to Afghanistan in the 75th Ranger Regiment during the ill-fated and unfortunately named Global War on Terror. I'm now a journalist and anti-war activist of all things. I often marvel at the American voters' complacency when it comes to considering foreign policy issues and the war state in our imperial adventures across the globe. We should be up in arms. The majority of Americans disagree with the premise of the Vietnam War, Iraq, and Afghanistan, but what to do about it? Would I rather my tax dollars go to Americans? Would I like access to health care? Would I like to own a home eventually? Well, that's not something this political party is interested in helping you with. As we witness the final stages of the annihilation of Gaza, the Iran nuclear deal falling apart into violence, the mobilization of a Marine infantry battalion with the ability to detain U.S. citizens starting this weekend, the problems and escalating violence seem insurmountable. War and colonial violence have been normalized for the U.S. over the course of generations. The United States has been at war for 93% of its existence, meaning it has only experienced about 17 years of peace. This equates to 228 years of war out of 245 years since its founding. But you cannot separate the degrading material conditions of your life and safety from the war and the police state. Whatever our politicians, most of whom are captured by corporate and foreign interests, are willing to do to Palestinians, to undocumented children, to Iranians now, they are inevitably, over time, willing to do to you. The precedent has been set. The state policy of bombing hospitals is normalized, controlled mass starvation is now acceptable, and arbitrary disappearances and detentions are on the rise globally, especially here in America. As global security degrades, nuclear catastrophe becomes more likely. Former Vice President Kamala Harris accused Donald Trump of being a fascist, which he is, without acknowledging, however, that she is part of the exact same system that funds a genocide abroad and expands the national security and police state at home, all in the name of corporate interest. This is not a left-right issue. This is an all-of-us issue, an up versus down issue. The mechanisms of violence and repression that we exercise abroad are almost immediately implemented back home. The same policing methods and technology that enforce occupation and apartheid on Palestinians are monitoring you, starting with journalists, international aid workers, and activists. This is nothing new, though. ARPANET, the precursor to the modern internet, was developed during the Vietnam War to target the Viet Cong on the Ho Chi Minh Trail and anti-war veterans, union organizers, civil rights leaders, and student bodies across the country. And now, Palantir, which develops targeting AI to level Gaza, is now about to put all your information into a national database operated by a company known for its highly controversial predictive policing models. There is no daylight between the war state abroad and the war state at home. It is a business, and they have a fiduciary responsibility to maximize shareholder profits, boil the seas, harvest your data, and control and crush political dissent. They will continue to cut social programs, especially this administration, both Democrats and Republicans, but this is unprecedented. We've never seen anything like this before. All beholden to their donors, fund immense defense projects, embark on imperial adventures around the globe, crush working class unity, and leave you behind even though there is enough for everyone. Again, this is not a left-right issue. This is an up-down. Put aside political theatrics. They vote for the same wars, have the same donors. You may not like Palestinians or Iranians or undocumented people. You may even believe that they deserve to be punished. However, as the material conditions of your life continue to degrade under this administration and you start to have a problem with that, well, you're next. Sometimes despair that it's probably already too late to avoid sliding into a profit-driven national security state, but what are you going to do about it? Fuck Trump, get him out. Let's start with that. Thank
you. Trump must go now!
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 All right, I'm proud to bring up Michelle Chai. She is a leader of the RevCom Corps for the Emancipation of Humanity in Los Angeles. She was in Los Angeles at the beginning of the upsurge there, and she is here with us today now.
All right, everybody, y'all look so beautiful. Give it up for yourselves. As Lucha said, I am Michelle. I came all the way from LA out here because we had to be here in the capital of the U.S. to oppose this fascist military parade. And I'm very happy to be out here in the streets with all of y'all. So look, Trump's decision to hold a military parade on his birthday was already a major move as part of the dangerous momentum and direction of MAGA fascism. What does it mean that this happens after a week where Donald Trump federalizes National Guard and deploys Marines into LA to forcibly suppress righteous protests of the horrendous, heartbreaking scenes of mass and fatigued federal agents storming, yes, storming restaurants and Home Depot parking lots to carry out mass roundups, yes, round-ups, without any due process. Fascism, it is happening. Fascism, with its terrible momentum, direction, and consequence. Fascism, what are you going to do now? That's right. I am Michelle, and I follow the revolutionary leader, Bob Avakian, who has said of Trump MAGA fascism that this is, quote, not a time for demoralization and despair. This is a time for righteous anger and revolutionary determination, unquote. This is a time for collective action and self-sacrificing struggle for the greater good. The greater good of defeating fascism. This fight for the greater good would be in a much better place if people knew what Bob Avakian has contributed to the understanding of the danger represented by Trump MAGA fascism. What we're really facing, why, and what must be done to defeat it before it is too late is a pamphlet that you can get from the people wearing the Revolution Nothing Less t-shirts. They're right here to my right, our contingent. Get these pamphlets and get into this, because look, more recently, in Bob Avakian official Revolution number 117, Trump MAGA fascists, cruel, demented, dark ages oppressors who twist reality inside out to justify their lawless tyranny, he says this: Trump himself plays the victim while he tramples all over the law and the Constitution he has sworn to uphold. He continually whines that he has been unfairly prosecuted because of moves to hold him accountable for the serious crimes he has committed, including his attempt to pull off a coup to remain in power after he lost the 2020 election. What does it mean when these people pose as victims and protectors of victims? It means that they are moving to use the power of the government to even more viciously and violently prosecute those who, in reality, are actually discriminated against and oppressed, and those who stand with them and stand in the way of Trump MAGA fascism. Everyone who wants to see an end to oppression based on race, sex, and gender, and an end to cruel, murderous oppression and lawless tyranny overall needs to be actively involved now and in an ongoing way in the massive movement that is urgently needed to defeat this Trump MAGA fascism, to create the conditions in the country where this fascist regime cannot govern and cannot carry out the even worse horrors it is moving to violently enforce. So that was from Bob Avakian, and you can get the pamphlet again from the RevCom Corps for the Emancipation of Humanity. We brought our contingent and we marched with y'all here today. And let me say this to those in the military: are you really okay with becoming the right hand of the fascist Trump, even as he makes clear he does not believe the U.S. Constitution applies to him and issues executive orders to strip away basic constitutional rights? Are you okay with being the reason high school graduation ceremonies are marked by terror and tears as they occur, with side by side with tanks, helicopters, and U.S. soldiers deployed at the whims of Donald Trump into a U.S. city to enforce these illegal and illegitimate roundups and threaten a governor, mayor, Congress member, senator, and union leader? To the tens of millions of people who do not want to see a fascist America, are you going to back down when Trump threatens and as he is using force to attack righteous protesters and even government officials who stand in the way of his fascist program? Are you going to surrender the future to a fascist bully? No! Hell no! That's right, hell no! This is a time to draw a line and say no. In the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America, to move the millions with clarity of mission and message to demand Trump must go now. That's right. And let me give a huge shout out to those of you who did come out all over the country and here in Washington, D.C., right up against Trump's perverse display of might. Your courageous stand today with the clarity of mission and message that Refuse Fascism brought us together for is part of what is needed to unite all who can be united and really move millions in the kind of nonviolent mobilization that is needed. So give yourself a hand. And look, we will also need to overcome divide and conquer, including from the enemy within, quote unquote, this fight. Bob Avakian puts it like this: going forward, it is crucially important and necessary for all those who say they are opposed to this Trump MAGA fascism to engage in principled relations with each other, working tirelessly to unite all who can be united in order to defeat this fascism and approaching differences in that context and with that orientation. So let me say, we in the RevCom Corps for the Emancipation of Humanity, we are not out for ourselves or motivated by anything lesser than the emancipation of all of humanity. We are serious about working together for the greater good of defeating fascism, and we are also serious about making a real emancipating revolution, because this whole system is rotten and illegitimate, and we need and we demand a whole new way to live, a fundamentally different system. So if you got the heart to fight for something worth fighting for, if you won't back down from fascist threats and don't care how much shit you get for refusing to accept the lie that there is no alternative to this capitalist imperialist system, if you want to be part of a disciplined revolutionary force, I want you for the RevCom Corps for the Emancipation of Humanity. So come find us, come talk to the RevCom Corps for the Emancipation of Humanity, get organized, and thank you all very much. Y'all are beautiful.
Thanks, Sonia. Let's go to the back.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Once again, Michelle Chai from the RevCom Corps for the Emancipation of Humanity.
All right, John and I are going to head to sort of the back of the protest here and talk to some people.
I want to say just how important it is. People have spoken to this. You know this. But I want you to realize what you've done here today is something that means something for people across this country and around the world.
Oh, hi, I'm Ashley, by the way.
Hi, Ashley. I'm Renee.
Hi, nice to meet you. Okay, so we're talking to people at the protest in D.C. about why they showed up. Why did you think it was important to show up today, especially given the fact that, this is, there are no King's Day protests organized in other cities. This is technically not a no King's Day protest organized here in D.C. So why did you think it was important to show up?
I'm military affiliated, and when Trump announced that he was having a parade for his birthday on the military parade, I just was overwhelmed with such emotion, and I just bought tickets to come out here. I didn't even know what to expect, and so I'm really thankful to be gathered, with so many in the same energy of resistance. And yeah, I just needed to have some motion for all the emotion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And if you don't mind, you said that you're military affiliated. Do you mind sharing what it is that you do without, giving too much away?
Sure. I'm actually a Gold Star wife, and I lost my husband serving the Air Force in 2007.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah, and so I just am really upset about what Trump has not only been doing to our military and our veterans, but also what he said about them and how he's using them. It really just fills me up with so much emotion,
I can imagine. Yeah. I mean, that's extremely personal for you. I mean, your connection is with your husband extremely personal, and I just can imagine that would make me incredibly upset as well, especially the way that, as you said, he's kind of using the military for his own ends. This is, we've spent 100 taxpayers, so we've spent up to 100, we don't know the exact number, but up to $143 million on this military parade, his birthday bash, and all of that. And, those are resources that could have been put toward things to actually help people, like social programs, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, our veterans are really suffering, too, from all these cuts. And we live in a military town, and it's just been heartbreaking to see people from all walks of lives, all sides of political spectrum, just come out and voice their grievances, and it's just unbelievable. It's un-American. I mean, out of all the things that are going on, right, that's just one. But that's why I showed up, like I said, we live in Arizona on the border, and we've experienced a lot of the ICE raids and seeing just a lot of that go on in where we live. And, yeah, I'm just utterly disgusted to see that he would use our military as like a token for himself. And a lot of our service members feel the same way,
I mean, I appreciate you sharing all of that. That's incredibly well articulated. And, I guess I would ask, as far as protests go, what would you hope the end to these protests are? Because a lot of these protests, especially these bigger protests like the hands-off protests earlier this year, they are kind of, targeted at Trump in particular, which makes sense. I mean, they should be. But I think that we don't talk a lot about how Trump is kind of a conclusion of the hollowing out of the working class over the last 40 years or so. So what would you hope the end game of these protests would be? What can we do after this to ensure that, we don't just address Trump, but we address all of the things, the systemic issues that allowed him to be in this position that he's in now?
Well, I think, like Cory Booker was saying, we need our legislators, our senators, our representatives. Everybody has to stand up to this because, like you said, Trump is just an effect, And I think that what's really beautiful about this movement is it includes everybody that's breathing this air, right? And an injustice to one is an injustice to all. And I just hope that our show of showing up will inspire our leaders to also show up, stand up, and represent the people, right? To be the people, and it's just not what we're seeing in our country right now. And so that's not what I hope for, that's what I demand.
I appreciate that. And what would your demand be for our representatives?
I demand to get control back of the White House. I demand, I'm sorry, I lost the word, accountability, and that, you know, that our checks and balances will check and balance. And, yeah, we just need real leadership that leads for the people and not the billionaires. I mean, this is out of control.
Absolutely, and I don't think it's a coincidence that, you know, the most popular movement that has sprung up in Trump like 2.0 has been Bernie Sanders' Fight the Oligarchy tour.
Yeah, we went there in Tucson. Yep. They expected like 6,000 people to show up, and there was over 20,000 people, and it was just like, oh, it filled me with such joy. And I think that's what's important about this too, is us seeing each other out here, you know, and it inspires us to show up. We were at a protest in Tucson for our representative, and this lady pulled up and she was like, oh my God, it feels so good to know that I'm not alone, you know? And it's just like, that's part of it, you know, showing up and just coming together. We outnumber them, you know, in a peaceful, powerful way. We don't need violence to get to there, but there's way more of us than there are of them.
Thank you so much. Do you have any final thoughts that you would want to add for viewers of Status Coup?
I'm just thankful for my family, my peers, everybody showing up, and I just put energy of peace and power over this whole movement.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Such a pleasure. Yeah.
Tony G is part of the Refuse Fascism DMV chapter. He's part of the organization Pueblo Unido. He's going to come up, he's going to be our final speaker, and after Tony speaks, we're going to go out to 8th Street and 16th here. We're going to gather all together there and get a picture. All of us with these big signs that say Trump must go now. It's going to be right with the White House behind us.
I mean, honestly, like, I think it's just like
out to the world.
media form that one person into like a conversation that turns into like.
So here comes Tony G.
All right, we'll be around.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? All of a sudden disappeared.
No. We have a friend who is, but he's in the bathroom, so.
Yeah. I want to thank you, each one of you who's here today, because you are the voice of those who are being silent. Ustedes son la voz de los que han sido silenciados.
Oh, okay.
You are our support.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So we are talking to people again why they showed up today in D.C. for this, no King's Day, not technically affiliated protest, but anti-Trump protest. So what brought you guys out here today to protest?
We believe it's important to stand up for our rights and let it be known that we're not behind a lot of the things that the administration are doing. So this is kind of a way for us to get our voices out in a very kind of safe, kind of open and public environment. So that's really what kind of brought us out here. We are really not a fan of what's happening in the United States. We don't like what's happening with the administration or the lack of due process with people who are being arrested and deported. I feel like one of the most important things that our nation is founded upon is our laws. If we don't abide by the rule of law, then what are we going to abide by?
I was a history buff for as long as I can remember. And the thought that we would never be in the situation that we're in is ignorant. We are in this situation. Everything you read about in your history textbooks can come back, does come back, and comes back with a different face. And you need to be able to recognize pattern recognition. So the big question for me is, I was raised with the whole, what would you do if you were in Germany in the 40s? You know, what you're doing now is what you do then. What you're doing now is what you would do then. And so while, I mean, I support this, I want to see them take back all the symbols, but there's so much work to do. There is so much work to do.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And it's also, you know, as you're saying, everybody thinks if they were in Germany in the 40s, they would just shoot Hitler. Yeah, they'd shoot Hitler, they'd find him as a baby, they'd get rid of him, like, and it would be fine. But as you said, whatever you're doing in this moment is what you would have been doing then. And if you're not here, you wouldn't have shot Hitler as a baby. You wouldn't, yeah, you would not have been on the right side of that conflict.
Actions are actions. So it just goes back and forth and back and forth. And so marching out here, that's putting your actions where your mouth is.
Yeah, and you know, as people who are interested in history, I think it's also critical to note that the conditions that gave rise to Nazi Germany, they have a root in economics.
Oh yes.
And
yes.
What got us here,
the wage gap and everything. Oh my gosh, yeah. The what is it that? How different are we from France? The bourgeoisie versus the common people. We now have a larger wage gap between them now. Yes, by how much? Is it double? Double. It is double. Yeah.
I don't remember the exact figures, but like I know that we are
stats. Yeah, yeah.
But there is a large disparity of wealth distribution in our society. That is definitely causing a lot of issues societal-wise. Different funding, different abilities to live. No one should go, and this is my own personal belief, no one should go into debt trying to stay healthy. No one should be trying to have a quality of life that is decent, at the bare minimum, decent, and not be able to afford it. We are a nation that is bountiful and plentiful. We are the premier power in the world, but yet we have homeless on our street. We have people who are struggling day to day to get their basic needs met. That is unacceptable, especially from the supposed first world power. It is disheartening to see that we are supposed to be that global dominant force, and we can barely take care of our own people.
I mean, yeah, how can we expect to be a world leader if we can't take care of our own? There are far too many people here. I saw something recently that they're trying to enforce no homeless people like around here when these are gone. And I find that I took personal grievance with that because I felt like if you are looking out from the White House and you see a vast homeless population in your capital and you can't do anything about it or you can't be bothered to do anything about it, that is an inherent problem, and hiding it does nothing but make us more angry.
One thing that's got me is kind of how disingenuous a lot of people on the right are, where they say they want to cut foreign aid because they want to protect the people at home, and then they spend $137 million on a military parade. That's not taking care of the people at home. That's throwing a big birthday party for somebody who wants to be a fascist, who wants to be a dictator, who wants the image of a strong man. And that's what kind of made him so popular, was he's a strong man. He has the last time we see military parades usually, unless you see France has military parade to celebrate Bastille Day, that's completely different. Then, oh, well, for the first time ever, I'm going to throw a military parade to celebrate Flag Day. Last time we had a parade was a military victory over Iraq and Kuwait when they did their invasion in the 1990s. We're not celebrating a military victory. We're just, oh, I want to have it. Conveniently, it's 250 years of the Army, so there's my excuse to have a birthday. And my birthday, conveniently my birthday, so we're doing that. It's not like the 4th of July. We chose this for a reason. It's his birthday.
I would love eggs instead. If we could cancel it and everybody could get some eggs, I would love some eggs, I'm going to be honest, because $12 eggs are starting to become a bit of a kick to the coin purse.
For sure. I mean, nobody can afford that. And to, you know, just kind of reinforce the points that you guys are both making, how is it that we can afford this, they haven't disclosed the exact figures, but it's something between $50 and $143 million for this. Right. And
it's not built for us anymore. This isn't, I mean, it has to be our country, but it's not built for us. Not right now. And I think that, like, the most important thing is, like, we love America.
Oh, yeah.
We love this country. And we believe that there is something to fight for in the future. If we come out to protest, it's not that we're protesting America. We protest a man, and we protest a government. But I I believe that we could see a better day. I think that there's a chance. I think that there's a really good chance, especially with people with so much passion. But we have to fight for it.
Because I think someone made a really good point of no one else is coming to save us, so we have a responsibility to save the Republic, basically. So that's kind of what really got me out here, is the fact that if I'm not doing my part, what am I doing?
I really appreciate that. And I would also ask, you know, we've seen a lot of these bigger protests happening since Trump took office again. You know, we had the hands-off protests. What do you guys think the outcome of these bigger protests really end up being? Do you think that they're effective? Do you think that they're really pointing out the issues that we would need to change?
One of we talked to another reporter earlier, and he was talking about how there were a lot of people who came out and said, I've gotten to meet my neighbors through this. I've gotten to understand my community through this. And I think that is very important because we are an extremely isolated nation within ourselves. And so, I mean, I grew up with my neighbors. I know them. But now I've moved and I don't know them. And there's no reason why I would know them unless I go to events like this, unless I put myself out into the community. And I think that has a really strong impact. I also think that if we can reclaim symbology, that is critical. Because if you see the American flag, for years I just associated it with the Republican Party. I want to associate it now with my friends and with our movement and with America as a whole. So I hope that's the end goal of this.
I can't put it better myself.
Do you guys have any final thoughts for viewers of Status Coup about any of this, anything that you would want to add?
This is the time for us to stand up as a people and as a nation and actually make a difference. I mean, again, there's nobody else who's going to come and do this. So you have to take that chance. You have to be brave. Because things aren't going to be easy, and nothing worth doing ever is. So this is our moment to come out and be heard and be seen, to let them know that we're not satisfied with what's happening, that this is not the America that we love. So this is it. Don't be afraid. Be bold. Be brave.
Appreciate that. Any final thoughts?
Sic Semper Tyrannis. That's all I've got.
Thank you guys so much. This was great. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Seriously. Don't get me on
Where are we? That's right, Washington, D.C. right
If you are watching the live stream, please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to Status Coup so that you can see more of our coverage. Don't miss any of it. John and I have been on the ground in New York City covering the anti-ICE protests. Tina is in L.A. also covering the anti-ICE protests. Sure. Sorry, guys. I am holding the camera for a second. John is talking to someone. So, again, if you are not yet a subscriber, if you are new to Status Coup, please like, follow, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of our coverage. If you are not yet a member, you can become a member at StatusCoup.com/join. Becoming a member for as little as $5 a month helps us to fund the on-the-ground coverage that we have been doing.
So Andrew's a vet.
Cool. Excellent. Cool. Hi, Andrew. I'm Ashley.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So what brought you out here today? You are a veteran. What brought you out here to D.C. to the anti-Trump protest?
I felt it was more impactful to be in D.C. I think it's extremely important for the vets to start showing up. The right likes to claim the military, thank us for our service, use us as cannon fodder, string us out to dry when we come back from war. I'm so sick of people thanking me for my service, voting to hurt as many Americans as they can. And I just want to give the imagery out there that the vets are showing up beside the rainbow flags. You're not fucking taking this shit from us. We're not fucking intimidated, especially by a goddamn president that shits himself on the golf course, could not serve in the military because your precious little fingers on your tiny little hands couldn't reach the trigger assembly. You do not fucking intimidate us, Donald Trump. That's really all I got to say.
I appreciate that. Thank you thank you so much. No, you're good. Thank you. Have a good one. All right, that was Andrew. He is a vet and wanted to represent that it's not just Republicans who own the, kind of symbol that the military in this country is.
Let's see, let's walk.
All right, so the protest is marching back to the original spot where we are in Logan's Circle, where we were in Logan's Circle.
Let me take that for a second. All right, guys, I have to get on here and say something. It is incredibly hot. We haven't been marching. We've been out here with the people on the ground, showing you what's happening, not being where the networks are, covering the tanks and the helicopters and all the military toys, all that bullshit. We're here with the people, okay, because we care about the people. And if you want to support us, become a member, statuscoup.com/join. We need your support to keep us on the ground, covering these protests and other stories around the country. We are from, LA, New York, Washington, D.C. So please sign up as a member. Keep us on the ground here with the people, showing you the truth about what's happening in this fascist police state country that we live in. So again, statuscoup.com/join. It's only $5 a month, and that will help keep us here on the ground.
Nicely said by John. All right, so we're going to do a couple more interviews, I think. And then we are probably going to, as long as nothing happens, we're going to close out after that, just in case we end up going live tonight, because again, John and I are in D.C. We will be in D.C. for the rest of the night. There are all kinds of, Trump military parade events happening for the rest of the day. So we will be here. So we're going to do probably a couple more interviews before we close out the live stream, but stick with us so that you can see the interviews that we're doing and all that.
And that's very specific thing. Because the media needs to focus on corporate since 1966.
Your conversation, you were very innocent. You must have felt like that. Would you mind
Oh, yeah.
In the name of humanity. In the name of humanity. In the name of humanity. We refuse to accept. We refuse to accept. We refuse to accept. We refuse to accept. A fascist America. A fascist America. Trump must go now. Trump must go now. We call on everyone. We call are just getting started. We need to present. We need all of you involved. And we want to see
Can you turn it around for a second?
we are going to now walk together out of the area so we are safe.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Status Coup. Thank you very much. I watch you and follow you on TV, okay? And I click the thumbs up and subscribe and everything.
Do you want to tell people to like and subscribe?
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you in person. Wonderful. You are beautiful. Okay, we're on the same boat now, right? Beautiful, beautiful. Impeach the SOB. That's what the message I have. Okay? Impeach the SOB.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. I want to look for somebody to interview. Come over here.
Which way are we going? This way? We're in New York. We can go.
You'd like to make believe you're there. You'd like to make believe you can see what's going on. No one else
I'm with him on it. I'm on his side. All right.
Oh my God, my girlfriend's gonna get a kick out of this.
Yes. Well, do you know you're a girl?
Lawsuit. So like that was like it wasn't just a funny T-shirt. It was like a funny T-shirt.
I swear to God. Sure. Yeah, I can get you a camera for like a couple of minutes. That's fine. Oscar. Yeah.
If you do want to march back, we can. Especially get back here. No, we're not marching back. We're just assembling here.
Nice to meet you, Alex.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. All right, so we're talking to Alex. Why did you show up to D.C. today for the anti-Trump protest?
I think what really made the decision for me is the fact that when I was talking about going out to a protest this weekend, a lot of people told me that they were worried that there would be violence and that protests would be met with violence from police, from military. I'm a veteran myself. I don't believe in the use of the military for this type of thing. I don't think that these are good things to be doing. I think that if there is a time when you're scared to speak up, when you're scared to exercise your First Amendment rights, to just say what is on your mind, when you are scared of that, that is exactly the time that you need to speak up. You need to vocalize. You need to say this isn't okay, that I am afraid to even say what's on my mind.
For sure, and we've spoken to a lot of people who are, military affiliated, is how someone put it. As a veteran yourself, how do you feel about Trump spending, upwards of $143 million on a military / birthday parade?
It's just absolutely ludicrous. It is crazy that we can say that this is okay, that anyone can be okay with it. Frankly, in my own opinion, it's not even right for the military members to participate in it.
I think that they have a responsibility to say that this isn't what the military exists for. This isn't what we swore an oath to. We didn't swear an oath to the president. We swore an oath to the Constitution, and this man is constantly tearing it to shreds. It's exactly why I got out of the military. It's exactly why I don't serve anymore, is because it felt like everything that all the values that I had that made me proud of that are being torn apart, and they're being used for the most malicious things, and they're being used to attack people. And it's just frustrating. It's really frustrating to see the military used in that way.
I can imagine. I mean, I don't want to ask too personal of a question if you don't want to share this, but like, can I ask a little bit about your background in the military, and if you have any more to say on why you chose to leave?
Well, I worked directly for the White House during Trump's first presidency, and I got to see a lot of things close up of what was going on, and it just, I felt like it wasn't a safe time to be in the military. It wasn't a time that I felt like I was going to be actually carrying out the things that I had wanted to do. I wasn't going to be able to actually have the impact that I wanted to and that I thought I would from joining the military. So that was why I got out.
That makes a lot of sense. And do you have any other thoughts that you would want to add about the fact that, we're talking about this while the country erupts in anti-ICE protests, while we are being told that we don't have any money for social programs. Meanwhile, we are spending on this.
I mean, I think it's clear that it's a massive waste of money for an administration that says that they're focused on efficiency and saving us money. They're spending outrageous sums of money on things that nobody asked for. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars deporting people, which the thing that bothers me the most about all the deportations is being illegally in this country, being an undocumented person in this country is not a criminal offense. It is a civil offense. It is the exact same as your uncle who has a beer and sets off fireworks on the 4th of July. Do you think that he deserves to be in a detention camp and he deserves to be in these horrific prisons? Absolutely not. No one would say that. So why are we doing this to people who have committed the same type of offense? It's just demonstrable. I cannot believe that this is what the administration has chosen to do and spend millions on.
Absolutely, and they're trying to expand this also. They've earmarked billions for expanding the immigration detention centers, so giving it to places like Core Civic and Geo Group, which Geo Group owns Delaney Hall, which I'm sure you know. Yeah. And we, John Farina and I, the camera guy, we were at the immigration detention center in New York City last week, and we saw the way that they're treating, as you said, people who are just undocumented, and they're doing the right thing. They're going to immigration court. They're doing what they are told, and they're being treated with a kind of brutality that I had not witnessed prior to.
Well, I mean, I think that if anyone says that this isn't what they voted for, then they're wrong, because this was one of the first actions he did, that he brought back for-profit prisons, and he just tried from day one to make for-profit detention centers. It's all about making money for corporations, and none of it is even about the immigrants. None of it is even about these people. It is just an avenue to commercialize and to profit off of human suffering. So
I would agree with all of that. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to share with viewers of Status Coup?
Just thank you for being out here and hearing what the people have to say, and for hearing the stories of all the people who are not okay with this, who are scared of what's going on, and who are terrified for the direction the country is heading, and just want the America that we love, I myself, I am very, very proud of our Constitution. I am proud of our country. I'm proud of our democracy, and it's just all being torn apart. And thank you for hearing all the people who are upset at it being torn apart.
It is our pleasure. Thank you so much, Alex. This was wonderful. Thank you. It was really nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you.
All right.
You as well. Thank you.
You have my vote. I love you, buddy. I love you too. Let's chase off.
All right, so we tried to get some guy has a puppet. We missed it. Sorry, guys.
I think you should sit down. Close it out.
Actually, I'll face this way.
Okay, 1 second, guys. All right, so I have some super chats and all that I want to read, so just give me 2 seconds so that I can find them. Okay. Okay, so here are some super chats from today. I have a couple emails worth of them. So, thank you, Teresa273. She says, thank you, Ashley and John. You are very welcome. It is our pleasure to be out here. Mark Gauchi, please get up to date with the shootings in Minnesota and be careful, folks. These were politically motivated and the shooter is at large. If you have family there, reach out to them. Thank you for the update, Mark. And the super chat, Kitty Cats. I saw a clip today describing how the airline industry sold out personal info to ICE, including travel itineraries and credit card information. Thank you, Kitty Cats. I care for you too. Trump must go. Trump must go now. D Cook donate super chat. Thank you, D. D Marier 11. Thank you, Alan. Quit stealing the fruits of our labor. Matt Madigan. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Fernanda and Steve Wilson. Thank you, new YouTube members, Lisa Wintler Cox, Michael, and new website members, Deborah N and Kelly. And thank you for the $50 donation from Meow and $20 from Ramona. And hang on while I get to the next readout that we have here. So super chat from Mr. Popinski. It starts today. It continues in 2026. It ends in 2028. Thank you for the coverage. Again, it is our pleasure to be out here. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Endora, who says, worthy exception to boycott. Keep up the good work. Glad to see this in D.C. Thank you so much. Azareth says, but I work. And PZ Papa Zulu, thank you for the super chat. And they say Dems are polling, according to one poll, at 21%, 70% disapproval. Thank you, Donald James. You guys continue to do great work. Cheers. Thank you so much. All Right Now says, thanks for being there. I just got back from the protest in Marietta, Georgia. Thank you for being at the protest in Georgia. We are happy to be out here. And welcome new YouTube members, Sky Queen, Timothy O'Donnell, Urini26, Sliced Bread, and Teresa gifted 5 YouTube memberships she gifted 5 YouTube memberships. And welcome Shu Wong. I Got Nerfed also gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much. That's awesome. And thank you to Sylvie, who donated $5. Thank you guys so much for all of that. So it is very hot and humid out here in D.C. We've been out here for a while today covering the anti-Trump protests that are, again, happening while all of the other No King's Day protests are happening in cities all across the country. And anti-ICE protests have been going on all across the country as well. We will be out here in D.C. Trump's military parade and birthday bash is still going on today. They will have fireworks at like 9:30 tonight. So again, this is going to be an all-day event. So we will still be out here in D.C. There is a chance that we will go live tonight. It depends on whether or not things are kicking off here, but we're going to be on the ground recording so that you guys will know what happened out here. If not, but again, if there is something happening, we will be out here covering for you guys live. If you are watching this and you are not yet subscribed, you should subscribe. You should like, follow, and subscribe to Status Coup so that you don't miss any of our on-the-ground coverage. If you are not yet a member, you can join. You can be a member of Status Coup at statuscoup.com/join. You can support us for as little as $5 a month. It's really not much. Again, even just $5 a month allows John and I and Tina, who is in LA, to go out and cover all of these things for you. We cannot do it without your support, and with everything that's going on in the country right now, we need your support. There's a lot of things to cover. We want to be able to expand our coverage. Again, you can do that $5 a month. That's all it takes to help us out, and we appreciate every subscription, every person who joins, every new member. We appreciate all of it. And again, we will remain out here in DC, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye.